What's up, guys? Sean Tom with VPX Baseball. And I want to talk to you guys through some drills that are going to help you work on key components to your delivery. They're going to help you increase your velocity. Okay, check out our other videos in this lesson on a more in-depth, better description on what each of these components entails, what's right, what's wrong. Bottom line is this: we all know that velocity is a big buzzword out in the industry today, and it is the #1 determining tool in terms of everything, in terms of recruitment, in terms of time, in terms of, you know, staying, being in the lineup, all those types of things, okay? So there's a few key points that we're gonna touch on in this that are gonna help that be successful or break down, okay? So we all know that velocity is gonna come from our lower body. Everybody knows that, okay? You're gonna get it from your legs or your hips. The thing is, a lot of people, when they work on these things, they don't really address issues where they happen. They address the end result, and then they never work backwards. They just say, hey, right at the end, we gotta be better. But problems generate way before that. Okay, so the first drill I'm gonna give you, and I've got our VPX harness on here that I'm gonna work into this as we go to show you. It's an unbelievable tool to give you the feel you need to work on this power and the power sail and getting into the ground correctly. It's gonna give you feedback when you drift forward and lose velo instantly, so it takes the guesswork out and you know exactly when your breakdown's occurring. So I'm actually hooking to this thing right now for the first one, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna work on first, okay? Again, this harness, very valuable tool, very powerful, used by 22 Major League Baseball organizations because it gives them the feel while they're training so they can make immediate adjustments. Okay, so I've got this on my back leg right now, and again, it's gonna feel that. Let me know when that's occurring. Let me know when this is occurring. First drill I'm gonna show you is I'm gonna come up to my lift, okay? Again, keep things to touch on in our lift, okay? We want our hip pocket showing. How much you turn is gonna vary by the individual, okay? But the bottom line is, I can't be to a point where as I'm lifting, I'm also going. Okay, you have to be able to load and get all that energy back, okay? So first drill I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start right here in my load, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on what I do from here, okay? Body should work in 2 parts, okay? We have our upper body, our lower body, okay? The lower body should work underneath and get ahead of the upper body so that it counters. It can't be all at once, because then I go this way and I fall down the mountain, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work that key point from when I start to work down, that going. Okay, and that's where it works underneath. To visualize it, it's that right there rather than this. So what I'm gonna do, first drill I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a 3-step, and it's gonna work on just that, initiating that push, because a lot of times that's where players have difficulty, especially younger arms, to where they hear that, but what they do is they go this way, and that's where this harness is gonna be so beneficial right now. So I'm gonna be here, and what I'm gonna do is you've probably seen a separation drill, but I'm gonna add a hip push into it, just so you can start to get the feel of how that needs to go. So I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be 1, 2, and then I'm gonna throw on 3, and ride and go. Again, we're just working on that move right now, okay? And we're gonna move on as we go, okay? Now if I do this incorrectly with this harness on, this is how this is gonna be a great benefit to you. If I do this with this harness on, it's gonna immediately pull me up, and you'll see it right here. I'm gonna go at it with my front shoulder here. I'm gonna go 1, 2, and now if I go with my front shoulder, he's right there, see? It was hard for me to even stay any longer than that because the harness immediately tells me, yep, you're getting forward. So again, on this drill, what we're going for is 2 good pushes with the back hip here while our upper body counters, while the ball comes down, and then on the third one, I'm gonna go and ride my backside down. So it's gonna be here, okay? And I'm gonna be 1, notice my upper body countering, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and again, the longer I'm able to stay back, the more energy I'm able to create, the better I'm able to support it. Because, you know, you'll hear us say a lot, it's not enough to just create it here and then just be done with it. You also have to support it here, support it here, support it here. Okay? Next thing I'm gonna work on is my separation into the ground. What I do in that time, right here. Okay, so let's say, you know, I'm going through my delivery and I'm right here. What happens now? Okay, or maybe you're a guy that only goes to here, and that's what happens now. Okay, I'll tell you what doesn't happen now and what cannot. See a lot out there. If you Google velocity training or YouTube velocity training, you see a lot of this to that. See what that? I mean, I can't even do that right now, right? We can't have that, and for one reason mainly, it's because if all your power is back here, and that's what we're saying we need, then we can't vault out of that on our way down the mountain, because all that energy goes and leaves us to our own devices back here. I have to be able, once I'm in the ground, to be in a position to ultimately get the baseball out here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna work separation into the ground. Okay, now again, I'm gonna set myself at this angle where I'm gonna push, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my back hip into foot strike, okay? I'm not gonna go at it with my upper body. I'm gonna keep my upslope angle here, okay? So front shoulder slightly higher than the back shoulder here, okay? We don't wanna get ridiculous and be like this, but slightly higher. Everything here, I wanna make sure I'm not getting pulled up by these bungees. That tells me I'm loaded, okay? So I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna push. Now, let's talk about this right here, okay? So, when I'm in my foot strike, I need a long front leg, a short back leg. If that occurs and I'm loaded here, I'm not getting any pull. Okay, in fact, they're pretty loose right now because I'm loaded, but the more I go, you see them tighten up and now they're pulling. Okay? So again, when I go into the ground and I'm here, I need to be that way, not this way. So the drill done correctly is gonna be like this. Okay, we're gonna stop on our landing for now. Be here and I'm gonna push, push. Loaded, I'm gonna check, yep, loaded. I'm gonna go back. Okay, let's go again. The longer, you'll hear us say this a lot, the longer you can stay on your back hip, the more energy you're ultimately gonna transfer from the ground up into the baseball, okay? And the sooner you leave it, vice versa, the sooner it leaves. So I'm here, push, okay, weights back, go. Okay, I'll do one incorrectly for you. Okay, so incorrectly, I'm gonna go at it with my front shoulder here. So loaded, I'm gonna go this way. See, there's the pull, okay? I can feel my hand having to speed up right here there, which is not a supported position. All my energy's gone by the time the baseball gets there versus being behind it, okay? So again, correctly doing that drill, especially with the harness on, is gonna be not feeling it pull you, pushing this way into the ground. So we create a sail, long front leg, short back leg, and slide angle here, okay? Now we're gonna move on. We're gonna work on from the ground out into release. So for this one, I'm gonna actually get into the ground to start. I'm gonna get into a power T, right? So pointed, but my hips aren't. My hips are gonna be right there. Okay, and as you see, I'm pointed, hips are closed, upper body's closed, and I'm here. Make sure when you're doing this, you see a sail. Now, if you were actually throwing a pitch, your back heel would probably be up a little bit by now. I mean, it would have to be. But for the purposes of this drill and what we're working on, we're gonna go ahead and keep it down for right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay straight leg, but I'm gonna come up and down, and then I'm gonna go. Here's the thing. This is a great drill to identify a guy's energy that they don't realize is leaking, because what happens is, they're like, okay, I'll go up, but then they end up like this. And the reason they can't pick that up is because all their weight's actually right here, right? And that's a great thing about this is because a lot of times they don't feel it until they start working with the harness. But, now obviously we're not gonna be sit here, hold, but what it should be is that you can keep leverage on the inside, foot comes up, down, okay? It shouldn't be to where you're struggling to get that foot up. That's because 100% I have weight out here, right? So we want our sail. Here's how the drill's gonna look done right, okay? It's gonna be up, down, go. Okay, let's do it again for you. Again, I'm maintaining leverage and strength on my front leg. I'm not being this guy, okay? Get into my sail, my power T, okay? Up, down, go. Okay, now, let's do it incorrectly. It's always good to see the negative way to do things so that you can tell, okay? So if I rock back like that, and then I fall, not only am I gonna feel this, I'm gonna feel this back here too, which we don't wanna feel either, right? So if I'm here, okay, and I fall, which will probably happen a few times when you start out, we need to pay attention to what we're feeling from this and what we're feeling from this. I feel like I have no support and leverage here, because I don't, because all my energy's out here, right? So it would look like this if I do it wrong. You'll see my front shoulder dip, and you can see I'm way out, and that picked me up immediately, because by the time I hit the ground, I was here. No good. This is a very weak position. I can't support, I can't brace. All the energy's gone, okay? The last one I'm gonna do, okay? So I'm gonna go from my lift into my landing and I'm gonna throw, but what I'm gonna do on this one is I'm gonna work on my posture, Okay, so I'm gonna work being chest out, powering this way. So when I throw, my goal here is to throw a ball with plane and down. Okay, I've got a target down here and I'm gonna look lower part, but I'm gonna stay up just for now. Okay, obviously when we pitch, we need to follow through and beat this guy, but for the purpose of working on our posture, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna power down, but I'm gonna stay chest up for now, all the way through. Just to make sure I'm working behind and my hand getting out here. Because if I'm truly maintaining posture and doing well supporting my power, I'll have no issue getting my hand out here, okay? But if I'm not able to do it, if you try to do this and your ball's constantly just up, 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 that's your body telling you and the baseball telling you that you got a lot going this way and we need to sure it up, right? Because what it should look like is as I rotate, this is driving, you see my chest out. Baseball powers, right in here, and then I follow it. So we're doing posture drills. We want to make sure we're able to hit that leverage change, get the ball down while we're staying tall. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to start in my set, and I'm going to lift and hold, and I'm going to go. So you stay chest up and work to get the ball down. Okay? And again, my goal is to stay, I like to think about staying 7 feet tall through the whole thing. Okay, that's our goal. Stay as tall as we can, as long as we can. Hold. And there. Okay, and that ball's up a little bit, so I'm going to work to stay a little bit taller on this one. Okay, again, you throw in games, obviously you're going to throw and finish. For now, we're working on our posture, so we're going to stay up, force our hand to work down. And there we go. Okay, feel my hand out here, I'm behind it. So that tells me that I'm here and there versus here and there. Okay, again, as you're doing drill work, key things to take note of, we need to make sure we're working off of our backside as long as we can possibly do it. The longer you stay here, the better you're gonna be down there, okay? The earlier I leave, the worse it gets for me. Also, we wanna make sure that we don't lose our posture. The quicker you lose your posture, the more energy goes path of least resistance, dissipates out. A lot of times your breaking ball just gets really not good. I'm sure you guys have all seen guys, they'll throw their fastball for strikes all day, but every time it's a curveball, it's like up and away, bounce. Well, that's because they're not getting to leverage and they're out here. So we gotta make sure when we're going through that we are staying stacked, right? We're creating energy and then supporting energy all the way into here and then applying it rather than creating it, but then just letting it go, right? We have to support it all the way into the ground. Okay, again, keys to velocity, supporting the energy, being on your backside all the way into a firm foot strike, and then releasing it, keep your posture, okay? Stay as tall as you can for as long as you can. Hopefully you guys found these drills in this video useful. We got so many others on our website to help you up your game. We also got a full line of products, help you get to the big leagues.